For as long as human beings have had the capacity to wonder, we've looked up. We've stared into the night sky, trying to figure out where we came from, what our purpose is, and what actually happens when we die. Thousands of years ago, in the early Vedic period of ancient India, people searched for those answers in the crackling flames of elaborate fire sacrifices. They followed a path called karma kanda, the section of action. By performing precise physical rituals, they hoped to secure wealth, a good harvest, or even a place in heaven. But external rewards have a limit. A good harvest feeds you for a season, and worldly wealth eventually fades. Those outward physical actions didn't quiet the mind, and they couldn't answer those massive, terrifying questions about the nature of existence. That search for permanence led to a new set of philosophical texts known as the Upanishads. The Sanskrit word translates to sitting down near. It brings to mind a student sitting quietly beside a realized master, receiving direct spiritual instruction. This marked a major shift towards Jnanakanda, the path of knowledge. The authors of these texts stopped looking entirely to the outside world. They took the spiritual gaze of a culture and turned it inward, moving the search for truth from the physical fire of the sacrificial altar into the silent architecture of the human mind. To understand what they found, we have to start with the entire universe. The Upanishads center on Brahman, the infinite, uncaused energy and divine ground of all existence. How do you describe something that encompasses literally everything? The texts use a method called neti, which translates to not this, not this. You have to strip away every physical attribute, every conceptual thought, and all human language, until only the absolute remains. Brahman transcends the empirical world entirely. It exists before time, outside of space, and underneath all physical matter. It absorbs all of it. It is the ultimate macrocosm, the singular, unchangeable source from which our entire universe emanates, by which it is sustained, and into which it will eventually dissolve. Now, let's look in the exact opposite direction. Think about yourself. If you subtract your physical body, ignore your sensory experiences, and strip away the constant, noisy fluctuations of your ego, what is actually left? The Upanishads call that remaining core the Atman. It is pure, silent, observing consciousness. It is the part of you that simply watches your life happen, unbothered and unchanged by the events going on around you. The Katha Upanishad illustrates this with a famous metaphor. Imagine a chariot racing down a dirt road. Your body is the chariot. Your intellect is the driver. Your mind acts as the reins, and your physical senses are the horses pulling you forward. But the Atman is the silent passenger riding inside. That passenger does not age, it does not get injured, and it does not die. It is completely independent of the physical world, the immortal subject of your experience. So we have two profound concepts. On one side, Brahman, the infinite reality of the universe. On the other, the Atman, the silent passenger within you. What is the relationship between the two? The Upanishads propose a total, non-dualistic identity between these two forces. This reality is captured in a famous decree from the Chandogya Upanishad, Tat Tvam Asi, which translates to, "Thou art that." To explain this, the ancient sage Uddalaka Aruni gave his son a simple analogy. Think of raw salt crystals dissolving invisibly into a glass of water. Once dissolved, you can't see the salt anymore, but every single drop of that water tastes of it. The hidden essence of the salt permeates the entire glass. In the exact same way, the ultimate essence of the universe permeates you. Your core consciousness is identical to the core reality of the cosmos. Grasping this equation dissolves the illusion that we are isolated, separate beings, trapped inside physical bodies. You are the universe experiencing itself. But if that's true, if we are all infinite and eternal, why do we experience fear, pain, and death? The texts explain this through the cycle of samsara, the continuous wheel of birth, life, death, and rebirth. We are propelled through this endless loop by karma, the moral law of cause and effect, driven by our daily actions. And we stay trapped in this cycle for one reason: avidya, or ignorance of our true nature. The way out is moksha, liberation. And you don't achieve moksha by performing more external rituals. You achieve it through jnana, direct experiential knowledge. When you finally recognize your true identity, the wheel breaks. This liberation, or moksha, exists as an ever-present reality to be recognized in the current moment by severing the illusion of duality. These texts didn't establish a single dogmatic religion. Instead, they laid the foundation for the various schools of Vedanta philosophy that would go on to shape the entire Indian subcontinent. Centuries later, when these texts were translated and reached the West, they caught the attention of prominent thinkers. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer was so moved by the Upanishads that he declared them the most profitable reading in the world, calling them the solace of my life. They went on to influence American transcendentalists and modern global spirituality. The Mundaka Upanishad even gave modern India its national motto, Satyameva Jayate, which translates to truth alone triumphs. In a world that constantly pushes us to acquire physical things to find happiness, the Upanishads offer a completely different map. They remind us that absolute truth and lasting peace aren't things you can pull from the outside world. They are already waiting, silent and perfectly intact, deep within.